Welcome to another edition of the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And do we got a treat for you? And a special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady, who supplies our artists each and every week. And on the show this evening, we got the one, the only Miss Michelle Little. She's in the house. And we had the opportunity to check out her music, and she's a big fan of Patsy Cline. In fact, all of her music is kind of resembles the Patsy Cline music as well. So we're going to find out more about that. We're going to find out about her, and we're going to find out about her musical journey and all that good stuff. So welcome again to the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. It's your friend Russell K, and you can join us each and every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be here for you each and every week. So now let's go live and meet our special guest. Hello, Miss Michelle. How you doing this evening?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing amazing. And I mean, your music is absolutely amazing, just like you. And I had the opportunity to check out your music, and did my background check on you, and you're a huge Patsy Cline fan, and when you listen to your music, it kind of really does resemble the music of Patsy Cline. So can you maybe open up our show and share how that all came about for you?
Sure. So here in Australia, I grew up in a tiny little town called Mendoran, 400 people, and my mum and dad, they both love country music, but my mum loved Patsy Cline, well, still loves Patsy Cline. And so, this tiny little town, there's not much to do. So she'd play all her Patsy Cline records, and I'd sing along. And then one day, we sort of thought, maybe there's this little town fair on. Maybe I can sing a few Patsy Cline songs at that. And that's sort of how I started my singing career, was singing Patsy Cline songs. And then fast forward a few years of doing, my own original material, and I went to university and studied classical singing and all that sort of stuff. And then I was in Tamworth at the Tamworth Country Music Festival one year, and I was busking. And all these people just kept requesting me to do Patsy Cline songs. So I thought, well, I can't do a whole thing of Patsy Cline songs. And then someone said to me, well, actually, you could do a whole show of Patsy Cline songs. And so next minute, I know I'm doing this Patsy Cline tribute show. And, I've been doing that for about 13 years now up at Tamworth Country Music Festival. And I released an album that was recorded live at the show. And, and that's where the my cover of Crazy came from. So that's kind of the short version of how my love for Patsy Cline developed, and why I tend to love that sort of music. So yeah.
How did you get into music, and what makes you love it so much?
Well, like I said, my mum and dad both loved music. They weren't musicians, but there was always music playing around the house. And if any musicians came through our little town, we always had to go to the local hotel and listen to this live music. And then, inevitably Dad would usually invite everyone back to our house afterwards, to continue the music and party long into the night. So that really, created my love for music and for singing and performing and wanting to be part of that whole scene. And I just kind of started singing. I went to my teacher at school and I said, I want to sing a song at the Christmas concert. And she went, oh, okay, well, let's hear it. And I started performing, really young and around my little hometown. And then I got in touch with the local musician who travelled all around our area. And our biggest local town is called Dubbo. And he got me to come and perform at a few of his shows over there. And from that I started doing festivals, country music festivals and talent quests and all that sort of thing. And that took me kind of all around my state and then around Australia. And and then when I got to the end of school, I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I went and did a music education degree, and here in Sydney, and that's where I started doing classical singing. So I've always sort of done classical and country alongside each other, which some people find really weird. But that's, that to me, it doesn't seem weird. And, a lot of those old country crooners like Patsy Cline and Jim Reeves, and, their voices were so great. They could have done opera singing if they wanted to, but they just, they wanted to do those country songs that tell a story and relate to everybody. So, yeah, that's a little bit of background on where I come from with my music. So, yeah, I hope people can relate to that.
Awesome. And so, other than Patsy Cline, do you have any other artists that you look up to?
Oh, yeah, definitely. People often say, like, what's your favorite song? And it's kind of the same with favorite artists. It changes depending on how you're feeling at the time and all that sort of thing. But one of my biggest influences growing up was Reba McEntire, as well as Patsy Cline. I just love Reba's stuff and the way she sings. And one of my first concerts I have, like, big international concerts I ever went to here in Australia was Kenny Rogers, and just his support act just happened to be Reba McEntire. So she just really blew my mind. And of course, Trisha Yearwood and all those sort of 90s country singers were huge influences on me. But having said that, I also was influenced by Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald and a few of the jazz singers and blues singers as well. One of my first vinyl records I ever owned, because my mum had a big record player in Mendora, so I wanted to have my own record that I could play. And one of the first ones was Janis Joplin. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I have a really big range, and in my musical tastes. But I think what it comes down to for me is singers that can tell a story, that really let you into the emotions that they're trying to tell you in the song. So that's what always brings me back to what I love about music and what I love about country music, because it's all about the story. So, yeah.
So now that we're talking about country music, what is your thought about today's country music compared to back in the day?
Well, I actually recently went and saw Lainey Wilson in concert. She was on tour here in Australia just a couple of weeks ago. I love Lainey. I just think she is amazing. But having said that, her style is very reminiscent of those 90s singers like Trisha Yearwood and those sorts of people. So I like some of the new country and some of it is not really my thing. So, yeah. But in general, I like to stick to, I guess, I listen to a lot of alt country, like Charlie Crockett. I love Charlie Crockett because he just reminds me of all that good old Marty Robbins kind of ballad sort of country stuff. But, I'll listen to some John Party or, Luke Combs every now and then as well. So it's not all just old stuff.
I love it. So now that we're talking about country music and music in general, what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, I guess just to be yourself, as much as I say, I love Patsy Cline and I do a Patsy Cline tribute show and all that sort of thing. I try to always do it my way, because that was the advice that was given to me from a really young age from some really great singers and musicians here in Australia. Was just, to be yourself. Don't try to be like anyone else, because people see straight through it. So it's better just to get out there and just be who you are, and and the people that like what you do will gravitate towards you. So don't be scared that you're not like everybody else. I guess that's the thing. And during my university years, I think as everyone does, I didn't rebel against my country background, but it was hard to get gigs here in Sydney as a country artist. So I totally went, into jazz and blues and rock and all that sort of stuff. And then, 10 years later or whatever, I just went, that's not me. This is me. So and it just, all of a sudden, it was so much easier to write songs and to perform the music that I wanted to do. It just felt so good. So that's the best advice I think I was given, was just to be myself. So yeah.
Let's talk about your album. And I actually before we went live on the air, I actually had the opportunity to listen to your album, and wow, it's amazing music, as we talked about a little bit off air. And so, can you share to our listeners who are watching now that will be watching a little bit later? Can you kind of talk about your album, how it came together, and what does your songwriting look like?
Yeah, so the album that I put together, my most recent one, it's a journey for me, because I went through a really tough couple of years, as a lot of people know that. Well, everyone does. There's times in our lives where we just go, oh my goodness, I've just got to get through each day and hopefully come out the other side better person. And at that time I lost my father to cancer, and that was a really horrific journey for me, watching this man that I loved and thought was bulletproof, just to waste away like that was really traumatic. And at the same time, my marriage broke down. So I sort of was going through this, period where I felt alone, but I was also having to be strong for my other siblings and for my dad and everybody. And I kind of went into this cocoon for a little while and just didn't, was just existing really through. And with music, I even got to the point where I didn't want to listen to music, because it, music makes you feel stuff. And so I started to come out of that, and I just started, the way I did that was to write. And I wasn't writing songs, I was just writing journal entries. And then one day I thought, you know what, I can probably put some music to some of these, because for some reason it was coming out in sort of prose poem form. And I started to put some music to it, and I thought, I can tell a story here. And when I was able to talk to other people about my experiences, I found that other people had gone through the same or similar experiences. And obviously it's better for us to talk about this stuff, because that's what helps us get through it. And so I started to have this idea that maybe I can do this album of music that hopefully will help people get through those tough times. And so I start the album out, starts off with this song called Nice to See You, which is a song about sitting down with a friend you haven't seen for a while and just catching up. And then it starts to go into, the more deeper sort of stuff, songs as it goes on. And, and that's what I wanted the album to be about. It was to take, if you're going to do an album these days, it has to have that story, it has to have that common thread, because, people just want to listen to one song and that's it. So I thought, no, we've got to tell this story. And so some of the songs are, love songs, love gone bad and all that sort of thing. One of the songs on there that I really like performing is called Why Didn't You Stop Me, which is basically like this little traditional country song with a bit of tongue in cheek saying, well, if you love me that much, why didn't you stop me from walking out the door, And it just, it's a bit of fun, that one. And then there's another one that's really fun too, called Gone Drinking. And it's about just, those times where you just got to call up the girls or call up your friends and go, right, come on, I need a night out. Let's go party. So that's on there as well. But then there's also a song on there that I wrote for my dad, and it's called You Don't Have to Be a Hero. And that's a song that obviously I wrote for him, going through a specific event in his life, but I've had so much feedback from people that, can relate to it in other ways as well. Just when you're going through a tough time, or when you see someone going through a tough time, to be able to say to them, look, we know you're the strong one. We know that, you've got this, but let us help you, that sort of thing. So, like I said, it takes you on a real journey, and the album is called Invincible, and that's the track that the album finishes with. And it's that feeling that when you get through all of these things in life and you get out the other side, you do feel pretty invincible, like you can do anything. So yeah, so that's in a nutshell, that's what the album is about. And hopefully everyone can get something out of it. A little, I know lots of people like happy songs, or some people like sad songs, and sometimes it depends on the mood that you're in as well. So hopefully there's something on there for everybody. And hopefully people can listen and enjoy and relate and get something out of it.
Awesome. How can our listeners get in contact with you, and how can they download your amazing music?
Sure. So they can go to my website, which is michellelittle.com.au. Also through Blue Shamrock. They've got my profile on there as well. Or if you contact Blue Shamrock, they can get in contact with me. Also, most of my music is available on Spotify and Apple Music. Actually, that's a lie, because it's not all available on Spotify. I think I've only got about 3 songs on Spotify, but the album is on Apple Music. But, if you want to listen to more of my music, probably better off to go to the website, because it's all there. You can download it digitally as well through my website. So, that's probably the best way.
What advice would you give to someone who's starting off in the music industry?
I have given a bit of advice over the years, so this should be an easy one.
Expect the unexpected.
Exactly. I think just have fun. If you're not having fun, that's when things start to go a little awry. So it's better, don't take yourself too seriously. Just get out there and have fun with it. So, yeah. Most people I know that have been in the business for a long time still really enjoy what they do, and really have a lot of fun when they're performing and everything. And I think that's the key. Yeah, you got to have fun.
So a little birdie in the sky told me that you're also a school teacher.
I am.
All right, so come on, you got to share some funny stories with us as it relates to you being a school teacher.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? So I teach from 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds. So there's a big difference in there, and oh my gosh, I'm going blank. I can't think of anything. Kids just say the funniest things. And one thing that's coming to my mind, that I don't know whether this is funny or not, but this kindergarten child said to me one day, as I was putting out instruments and things, and he comes up to me and says, "You're the little old lady." And I went, "Excuse me?" That's not very nice, whatever. And when I took their class back to their normal classroom after music, I realised they had the big book there of the little old lady who swallowed a fly. And on the front cover is a little old lady, and she had her hair up in a bun and a long skirt on. And that's what I was wearing that day. I had my hair up in a bun and a long dress on. And I've sort of, I've thought, oh, how rude. He's saying that I'm really old. But to him, he was just like, no, you look like the little lady off the cover because of the way I had my hair done and my dress. So, it's one of those things that kids see things through completely different eyes to us. There was no malice intended at all. They were just like, you're dressed up like that today. So I love teaching kids. There's for that very reason, because you never know what they're going to come out with, and they do see the world so differently to us. It's a real blessing and a treasure to be able to teach little kids. Yeah, that's for sure.
So when you're not on stage and when you're not teaching, do you have any hobbies?
I do. This is not going to go down well after the little old lady story.
That's okay. When you come to our show, expect the unexpected.
Okay. So one of the things let's say when I grew up in Mendora and there was not much to do, I learnt some things that a lot of kids do not learn to do when they're really small. My mum taught me to knit when I was 8 years old, right? And so when I'm not performing and teaching and all that sort of thing, I knit. So what I started doing, I knit these little koala toys, and I sell them through my website, and I donate the money to wildlife rescues. So that's wow. So maybe I am like the little old lady.
Hey, maybe you could knit me like a brand new hat.
Yeah. Oh, that one looks pretty good. You'll be right. Yeah, so I like to knit. I also like to travel. I like, to see the world. And I guess that's, one of the best things about being a musician is you get to see so much of the world. And, I haven't been traveling very much lately, but I'm hoping to get to Europe and back over to the States sometime as well. So, yeah, that's what I do.
Well, if you ever come up to the States, make sure you stop by the Music Dreams USA Radio Studios. We'd love to have you hang out.
Definitely. Thank you. I'd love to come and meet you in person.
Yes. We'll have fun, I promise. So as we continue with our interview, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience this evening?
I'm not sure. I did tune up my guitar. I didn't know if you wanted me to sing a little bit of something or.
You want to?
I can do a little bit of
something. For some Patsy Cline.
Okay.
Surprise us. I mean, you'd be like, well, I got to tell you something funny while you're getting warmed up, right? You're like
not really,
artist.
No.
You're like the second artist that's actually saying live on the Music Dreams USA Radio Spotlight show. So, woo!
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let us step aside and take as much time as you want.
All right, thank you. I might have to put my strap on just in case it falls a little bit. I might do one of my songs. All right, this is the song I was talking about before, the Nice to See You song. It's so nice to see you, so very, very nice to see you. It's been a while since you and I got together. It's just so nice to see you here. Do you remember that night years ago? That night we drank and we talked, and baby It's just great that you're here. It's just so great that you're here. I can't recall the last time that we danced. It's just so great to see you here. Oh yeah, it's just so great, so wonderful to see you here.
Woo!
Oh, thank you.
Outstanding. If I was one of the judges for America's Got Talent, you're going to Hollywood.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Great job. That was amazing. I
Oh,
love
thank
the music.
you.
I just love how you just put all that together. And so that was amazing. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh,
And
my pleasure.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's been fun hanging out with you and everything. And so tell us a funny story while you were on stage performing. Tell us a funny story about something that happened while you were on stage performing live.
Oh, gosh. The first one that popped into my head, I'm not sure if I can share with you.
Well, kind of like sidestep if you can.
You know, when people are drinking, funny things happen. So I had this one time I was singing in the middle. I was in the middle of a song, and this man just decided he loved my music so much, and he started getting really angry with everybody that was talking. You know, because when you're doing gigs, sometimes you're kind of background, you know, people are there catching up and having a good time. So sometimes, you know, like it's okay. I know that people are there to catch up with their friends and have a good time and everything like that. They're not going to be glued to me for the whole entire show, especially if it's like a 2 or 3 hour gig or something like that, you know. So anyway, this man though, he decided that it wasn't right that people were talking and carrying on. So I'm trying to sing and, you know, do my job, and meanwhile he's sort of going and oh, you should be quiet. So in the process of doing that, he's doing exactly the opposite to what he's trying to achieve, because everyone's just thinking like, no, mate, you need to sit down. You need to be quiet. And then he decided that, okay, well, I need to show this lady that I'm really enjoying her music. So went and got a bar stool and sat like a meter away from me and was like, oh, clapping really, you know, he was trying to show that he was really interested, but in doing that he did exactly the opposite, and all I could do was just laugh. I was just like, you know, and oh, thank you so much, you know, sort of thing. And I'm looking around, where's the security, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's just one thing that happens, you know. But like I said, there are some times where, you know, people get a little bit amorous when they're on the dance floor as well, and you've got to keep singing and trying not to like make eye contact. And, oh, it's just, yeah, the things you see and the things you do, it's, yeah, they're pretty funny.
So when you get ready to perform a show, do you go through any like rituals? Like, what gets you ready for the big show?
Oh, so I'll usually put on some music and, yeah, depending on what the gig is, depends on what sort of music, and that'll sort of get me in the mood. And then I'll, you know, I'll start with my hair, do my hair and makeup, and then I'll decide, like, do I need some flowers or what's going on? And then when I'm in the car that things really rev up, because that's when I start going through my vocalizers and things. And it's really funny because this just came to me. When I'm in the car warming up, I usually sing Blue Bayou, because Blue Bayou, that song, Linda Ronstadt song, it's got such a huge range. So it's really good to warm your voice up. And I was at a country music festival last weekend, and one of the other ladies there, she performed Blue Bayou, and when she got off stage, I said, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't, do that one." And she said, "Oh, I actually use it to warm up with in the car." And I went, "Oh my gosh, I do the same thing." So
that's awesome.
So yeah, Blue Bayou is my main warm up. For all those singers out there that want to know what the best warm up is, sing Blue Bayou.
That's awesome. That's so cool. As we wind down our show again, special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady. Each and every week, he supplies us amazing artists just like Michelle Little. What an amazing time we've had with her this evening. And a special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady. If you're an upcoming aspiring artist and you're looking to get into the music scene, make sure you check out blueshamrockmusic.com and reach out to Stephen. He's an amazing guy. And his beliefs are the same as ours on this show. We help support upcoming aspiring artists. And before we let you go, Miss Michelle, what is one thing you would like to say to all the fellow artists who are watching now that will be watching later on? What's that message going to be for them?
I keep doing what you're doing, believe in yourself, and don't give up.
I love it. I love it. Well, again, thank you so much for your time this evening. It was such an honor to meet you. And make sure you listen to the morning show tomorrow because we're going to play one of your songs. We're going to dedicate to you and your amazing musical journey. And, keep on rocking, my friend. And you're doing an amazing job. And it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Russell. It's just been fantastic to meet you and to be on the show. And yeah, just I can't thank you enough for giving us the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
It's certainly our pleasure. Until the next time, we're going to bring you back for part 2. I mean, this conversation go on and on and on. So we'll bring it back for part 2.
Sounds like fun.
All right, my friend. Well, you take care of yourself. Be safe. And again, thank you for your time. Again, it's your friend Russell K. And we were just live with Michelle Little. And a lot of her music is from the Patsy Cline era. And so, yeah, definitely got to check her out. Definitely go to her website. And again, if you can share to our listeners, again, how they can get in contact with you, Michelle.
Yes, michellelittle.com.au. And if you want to email me as well, you can email me through that website too. So, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check out her music. It's amazing. And as I mentioned before we came live on the air, I actually had the opportunity to listen to the music, and I can honestly tell you the music is off the chain. It's amazing. So again, thank you again for sharing that with us. Until next week's show, again, you're listening to and watching Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show, and we come your way each and every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. Please tell your family and friends about us. And in case you haven't had the opportunity to watch us live, that's okay. We're streaming live on all of our social media outlets. Immediately after this show's over, our show will be downloaded on all of our social media outlets so you can have the opportunity to even still see the show. Until next time, have a great evening, and thank you so much for watching. Again, a special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady.